secret behind the cheating rumors, the one neither of them shared, unfolded on a night as dark as Mo-young. The first time Meimei saw the trending search about his infidelity, the water cup in her hand shattered, splashing water and soaking her ankles. In that moment, she didn't scream or cry, just stared stiffly at the familiar yet unfamiliar name on the screen. The comment section of YuLong swept in like a blizzard. Some said he had an ambiguous relationship with the actress in his new drama, while others sneered, calling it a premeditated betrayal. Thousands of words pierced her heart like arrows, but only he knew he wasn't on the set that day. He was in the hospital accompanying a friend for surgery. No one cared about the truth. Traffic was more important than sincerity, and his world was forever filled with lies, drowning in the darkness in his eyes. YuLong wasn't the type to radiate brilliance, but he had a warmth that calmed people. He wasn't good with words, but he could always gently hold her hand when she was most anxious. He wasn't romantic, but he knew how to take off his coat and put it on her when she was shivering from the cold. During filming breaks, he always squatted down to adjust her skirt, lest she trip over the light cord. Tangren said he had good acting skills, but Meimei knew it wasn't acting, it was true tenderness. His world was not noisy, but deeply affectionate. His love was not ostentatious, but firm. Every time they looked into each other's eyes, she could see her own light, and that light was truer than any lens, rumors, gossip, light, or moon. That day, a blurry photo went viral online. The silhouette of a man in the photo bore a striking resemblance to YuLong, while the woman opposite him wore an ambiguous smile. No one waited for an explanation. Clickbait and hype sentenced the truth to death. Entertainment media rushed to report, fans split into two camps, and skepticism overwhelmed all truth like a wave. Late at night, Meimei stared at the blurry silhouette on the screen, her heart tightening. She knew it wasn't him, but she couldn't argue. She posted a single Weibo post, "Don't hurt him." Those 5 words, like a sharp blade, contrasted with her own pain. She was protecting him, yet she, too, was being misunderstood and swallowed by his silence. YuLong turned off his phone, closed the comments, and drew the curtains, not because he didn't feel pain, but because he didn't want the world to witness his collapse. He knew Meimei wouldn't demand explanations. That was her gentle stubbornness. She understood he was protecting her with silence. When reporters blocked his door, she smiled and said, "I believe him." At that moment, all the flashlights lost their glare. Her voice was soft, but it cut through the noise like the wind. Public opinion subsided briefly, but speculation, ridicule, and malice still approached like a tide. Meimei knew this was the most difficult moment of trust and the truest test of love. In the midst of the chaos, their bond held firm, a quiet anchor in the storm. While rumors raged, YuLong continued filming, often until the early morning. Meimei was there, silently accompanying him on set until dawn. Every time he looked back in the cold night under the light, she handed him a cup of warm ginger tea. He smiled and took it without a word. Once, during a night scene, she fell asleep on his shoulder. He didn't dare move, fearing he'd wake her. Director Han Ka carefully adjusted her position, and as YuLong looked at her tired but peaceful face, his heart ached with a bittersweet warmth. Outside, the world screamed with accusations, but in those silent nights, their world was only breathing and each other's warmth, the only calm in the storm. The truth, as it often does, arrived late. A crew member later revealed that the so-called cheating photo was a misunderstanding. The mysterious woman at the brand's dinner was the brand's PR manager, and YuLong had refused to sign a contract with exploitative clauses, choosing integrity over a $1 million endorsement. But the news came too late. Public opinion had already been shaped. The blurry photo was forwarded repeatedly, and no one cared about the truth anymore. People loved curiosity, but hated silence. Young Meimei finally understood that silence was a kind of strength, but also a lonely struggle. When the truth came to light, public opinion shifted instantly. YuLong was wrongly accused, and Young Meimei's unwavering loyalty replaced the previous insults. But neither could laugh. The harsh words had taken root in their hearts, and they had nearly lost each other. YuLong began to doubt his own value and whether love could withstand the world's scrutiny. That night, as rain fell on the window, he gently held her hand and said, "We don't live for others." She lowered her head, tears falling into his palm, mixing with the rain as if washing away all misunderstandings. Love grew again after the pain. They chose rebirth over surrender. YuLong took Young Meimei on a journey to Qinghai, Hunan, Yunnan, and the rain-soaked alleys of Paris, where the fragrance of tea and flowers intertwined with the atmosphere of freedom. He patted her back, she laughed, and he laughed too. There was no script, no lights, only laughter in the wind and rain. They embraced in strange cities, rediscovering their original intentions in ordinary days. Young Meimei learned not to care about others' eyes, and YuLong learned to remain sincere in love. They learned to trust again and to live again. That journey was not an escape, but a rebirth. After returning to China, YuLong received an invitation to a new play. The script told of a protagonist misunderstood and accused, yet still choosing kindness. He was silent for a long time after reading it, then smiled and agreed to act. On the day filming began, Young Meimei was there, not in the front row, but watching silently from a distance as the sun shone through the clouds, brightening his eyes. It was as if fate was gently smoothing out the scars of the past. They knew that no matter how many storms they faced, they would no longer be the same. Love, like a flower among thorns, was truer the more painful it was, a price of growth. They quarreled at times. She thought he was too stubborn. He thought she was too soft-hearted. During Cold Wars, neither wanted to speak first, but when one reached out, the other always held on tightly. They had weathered storms, learned tolerance, and embraced the past in their disputes. Years later, they worked together again. On the day filming ended, YuLong gently hugged her in front of everyone and said, "Thank you for never giving up on me." Her eyes were red as she smiled and replied, "Thank you for letting me believe in love again." The lights shone on them, and the world wished them well. They knew rumors and prejudices would always exist, but as long as their hearts were true, no one could destroy their love. Love was not a fairy tale, but the courage of two people to withstand the wind and rain together. Their story became a testament to trust and perseverance. It showed that true love isn't about perfection, but about the steadfast tenderness that remains even when misunderstood. Someone once asked Young Meimei, "Are you not afraid of being misunderstood again?" She smiled and replied, "Yes, but it's worth it." Those 3 words silenced the room. In an interview, YuLong said, "I'm not a hero. I just tried my best to stop her from crying." The audience applauded, moved by a story that transcended love, a belief in choosing kindness in a sea of judgment. That spring, cherry blossoms covered the streets, and YuLong found her after filming, wearing a white sweater. "Are you free today?" he asked with a smile. She replied, "As long as you call me, I'll be there." They ate skewers on the street, watched the sunset, and laughed as he wiped sauce from her mouth. That simple happiness became the gentlest proof of their love. May you, too, hold fast to trust in the storm and not forget gentleness in loneliness. Sincerity will not be wasted, and love will not be betrayed. The hardest thing in life is not being denied, but choosing kindness after denial. Silence can be the most powerful response, and persistence the gentlest counterattack. Their story continues, a reminder that love is not about the absence of hurt, but the courage to repair and grow through it.